Back YouTube, 22K here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. We had two events, Cardiff and the Black Country Games Fair. Both good in different ways. Cardiff was a long day. It's a long way, if nothing else. And yeah, so Fob and myself went across. We stayed over because it is. I mean, God knows how Daz did it. Bless him. He's an absolute fucking warrior. But yeah, we stayed over. I can't remember we stayed over now. I did tell some of the Welsh lads, and they were like, "Ooh, a bit rough." It was all right. I can't think what the bloody place was called now. I think it's a football team. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, the thing with Cardiff is it's a good event, successful, you know, well attended. The chaps will tell you that if you go and see some of the people that made videos. But as a vendor, it's a nightmare. It really is. I don't know what you I can't remember what the bloody called now. My head's gone. Utilita, whatever you want to call it, the people there. It just makes things a million times worse. The unload and the loading, the parking, it's a nose. It really is really difficult. Personally, I think they make it more difficult than it needs to be. But wow, what do I know from that end? But yeah, yeah, not a good place to stall out from the logistics side of it. To like for the the sales and that, it's fantastic. It really is a good day. We see plenty of tubers at Cardiff. Retro Steve, Goodwin's Place, Metropolis, Tony Fighter 2. I seen Ross. Put a picture up. I got a selfie with Ross. I think he said something about he stayed over as well. He had to pay some money for hospitality or something. Like, I can't remember what he said. Something like that anyway. Who else was there? 'Cause I'm going to forget somebody. Mark, that was funny. Mark, Retro Gaming Wales. I think it's called like Handheld Gaming now. I think it's Retro Gaming Wales. I'd met Mark before and spent some time with him in Blackpool. So he came up to the stall. He went, I can't speak Welsh. I can't do a Welsh accent. Rob can do a really good Welsh accent. And he goes, you won't remember. He goes, hello, Mark. He's like, all surprised. I go, of course I do. Mark the Runner. Everyone has always got a subtitle, depending on who they are. So he's Mark the Runner. Yeah, so it was nice to see him. I think he bought a game off me. I can't remember. Did him a deal anyway. He was quite happy. Yeah, so it was nice to see Mark. Say Tony Fighter 2, Steve, Craig, Matt. I can't think if there's anybody else. Obviously Ross and his missus. Apparently she kicked his ass at Street Fighter. I can't think if there's anybody else. They had the Comic-Con. They had the Comic-Con next door, which funnily enough actually bought some things from. Didn't buy anything in the market. But hey ho. Bloody hell, I bet I forgot somebody. If I have, I do apologise. If I have and I remember, I'll stick names and stuff here and whatnot. But yeah, good to see people. Nice to see it well attended. I say it was quite busy from that end. I mean, following myself, we got out at, I think it's like 4 o'clock. There was some weird, I think they were digging the road up near the event. So it made, even though it's one way, which is kind of like not great, it kind of blocked people off and people were getting stuck. So Rob didn't manage to get the van until like 5, half 5. We didn't get home till like 9:30. So yeah, really long day, but really, really good. And like I say, really good to see some folk for the first time. It's always nice to see people for the first time. So yeah, I think people enjoyed it. It seemed to be successful. I got 2 things from there. So I didn't get anything from the actual market itself, weird enough. From the Comic-Con next door, the eldest is into Green Lantern, the comics. So this is the thing, right? Because obviously I knew I was going there. So I said, I'll keep an eye out for you. Make sure you're up and whatever. Because I don't know anything about fucking comics, right? I don't know anything about comics. You need to tell me which ones you're after. So generally what I do, you weren't up. So I just took pictures and just said, you know, any of these any good? And she'd like ring them and like, as in like this one, that one, that one. Just did that. So I went over there and I spent like 20 quid. Got some comics and stuff. But I noticed the guy had these games. So I thought, oh, you know what? If I make some money, I might pop back and I'll tempt him. Because he weren't like, you know, like the market's right. He ain't daft. He knows what he's got. Everyone's got a phone. Got access to the internet. So you ain't going to get any like car boot bargains, right? Even at the Comic-Con. But I thought I'll tempt him. I'll tempt him towards the end. Not that I was going because like I'll come at the end and they'll give it away for free. It's because that's the only chance I could get to go back. That makes sense. Because obviously it's fucking mega busy. Because that's what I did. And he had some Game Gear games. And again, like I say, these were priced pretty much accordingly to CEX, give or take. And I offered him 80 quid, and he took him a while, but I flashed, 80 quid, and he was like, yeah, and he took it. I think I got a good deal. I say not massive bargains, but a good price. So the two games that we got, and I'll cut the price on there, is Sonic Labyrinth. So these are quite high-end-ish, I suppose, for a Game Gear. And they are in fantastic condition. I don't obviously, whoever he's got these from has looked after them. Yeah, it's a quite nice condition. Well, they are in nice condition. So Sonic Labyrinth, again, CX price is just below that, probably like 52, I think, 52, I want to say. Because I did double check. And this one, and again, that's in stock. I think there's a couple of them knocking about. Because it's Sonic, it's not, sold in the thousands or whatever you want to call it. This one, less so. So this was 40 quid. You're not ready to read it through there. This is a little bit less common. This is Legend of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. Obviously part of the Castle, the Illusion series, Castle Illusion and stuff like that. So this was 40 quid. Again, probably not too far off CX price, but CX don't have this in stock. They haven't had this in stock since I've been hunting for Game Gear games. And I haven't seen it at anyone else's stall. So like I say, when he had this and he had that one, and they were the only two I needed, I was like, ooh. So I thought, you know what, 100 quid, I'll chance his hand with 80 quid cash. And he did take it. So I think, overall, like I say, not like massive bargains, not like, oh my God, I got them for half price. But given that they were overpriced, and I did say that to him, I said, look, you're a little bit over CEX, and he kind of nodded a little bit. Again, can't blame him. With a 20 quid off, kind of like probably saved, especially with that one though. I think that that's probably worth more than the 40 quid that he had on it anyway, because you don't see it. But anyway, two decent, nice little bargains there for sure. Like I say, 80 quid out my winnings, but at least I've got something to show for it, and it ain't been squandered. Not that anything gets squandered nowadays. Says he with a room full of fucking junk. But no, good day. So like I said, nice to come away with something. Nice to see some of the lads and some of the folk there. Is it Christy? I think Ross's missus' name. Didn't really speak to her too much, bless her. It was busy. I can't think there's anybody else I've seen. That being said, what else has been going on? Not a great deal from a YouTube perspective, he says, while then suddenly remembering this won't make the cut. This won't make the cut. It'll be long gone by the time I get to upload this video. It's the Turnberry Titans, the Turnberry Turtles, the Turtleheads, Gordo, Gib84 Gaming. It will be tomorrow, the 1st of November. Again, long gone since when this video will get put up. But yeah, I'll do my best to give some support and this, that, and the other. I did get a message from Gordo on Thursday, I think. I think they'd basically gone round and asked every man and his dog. I think they even what's his name, Rolf Harris. They asked Rolf Harris, and I think I was just after Rolf Harris in terms of would I be able to up and attend. Obviously, it was too short notice. Sadly, Rolf is incarcerated. Otherwise, he could have probably attended. And then I was next on the list, but unfortunately, it was just too short notice for me. So I appreciate the offer, Gordo, but yeah, I had to decline. It was a little bit, and again, it's north of the wall. I've never been north of the wall. Not even sure for passports in date. But hey, I could always probably go up on a dinghy, couldn't I? That joking. We're not getting into politics, not political. But no, all joking aside, I say when this gets put up eventually, I'm hoping it's been a great success because he does deserve it, and it puts a lot of time, effort into it, and it's such a good cause as well. You know, you can't fault that at all. So fingers crossed, it all went well, and yeah, good stuff, as they say. So again, what day? Last week, because it's Halloween actually. It's Halloween. Fucking can't you tell by the makeup? Take your mask off, Steve. It's Halloween today, 31st. So last week was Black Country Gaming Market, hosted by Ant Harper. Dana is supposedly supposed to not be involved, but unfortunately Ant had I don't know, got it kicked in the head by a horse or something. Had cross eyes, something like that. So Dana had to step once more into the breach. I think he said he'd come out of retirement. He's gone back into retirement now, bless him. All very last minute, because obviously, like I say, Ant had boz eyes or something. We popped up and helped him in the morning, get set up and stuff. So, you know what, from a setup perspective, we got really well. We all pretty much done and dusted and whatnot. I think people had plenty of space as vendors. We kind of like, you know, because I've been doing this a while now, even though I've never hosted an event, I kind of got a good idea of what works and what don't. So between us, Dana had his mate Riley, and me and Fob there. So between the four of us, we had it fucking done with about 25, maybe half an hour ish, give it or take. They had some new lights in there. It was not as dark as it has been, so that's a bonus. It was a bit quiet. It was a little bit quiet, and again, you can't, you know, you can't polish a turd. It says this guy here who's been trying making these videos are fucking shite. Yeah, apparently I am living proof that you can't polish a turd. But no, it was a little bit quieter, a little bit quieter than I expected. But having said that, like I said to Rob, given that we were there earlier than normal, the day went really quick. And that's probably testament to sort of like the social side of it, I suppose. A lot of nice people. They're all nice people, but some, you know, some of the regulars that sort of only seem to go to Black Country, which is cool. I like that. And then some old and familiar faces: Dazco Jones, Jay Cybersnake. There was no Russ or Claire, the Retro Repair Bears. They were absent. I can't remember what the chap's name is. The chap who's got pork, what do you call them? Medallions. No, I can't remember. The big things on the side there. Even his missus came along. They always come along. They always say hello and stuff. Lovely couple. God, Bennett. Loads of people. James, Retro Import Game, I'll come on to him. RC Martin again. Evesham Gamer. I didn't get a picture of Martin. He was very, I'm going now. We had a little bit of a chat and I just completely forgot. But nice to speak to Martin. Nice to see him. He was there. Fucking hell, there was somebody else. Can't think. But we got some bits. We did get some bits from that market, which is obviously nice. I chat to pause it and have a think again because there was something I can't think of it. So we're just going to carry on. We'll carry on regardless. In that song, carry on regardless. No, gone. That's early onset Alzheimer's. Got to kill some brains. Apparently, a guy I used to work with, Jimmo, absolutely mine of like wonderful quotes and idiosyncrasies and stuff like that. He used to sort of say, with alcohol, apparently scientifically proven, that it kills brain cells, right? No shit, like, you know. But apparently, when you kill off brain cells, your body is forced to produce new ones, new and vibrant and, you know, energized brain cells. So that was his excuse. That's how he used to stay intelligent, because he used to drink Bacardi on fucking hell, like Bacardi and Coke. So that was his reasoning for consuming high amounts of spirits, was to kill off the dead brain cells and promote the growth of new healthy ones. Apparently so. So anyway, stuff that we got from Black Country. So I mentioned James, Retro Input Gamer. Did a few bits for him anyway, and he reminded me of his last video. He goes, "Oh, he's collecting soundtrack vinyls," and I'd had these stashed in the corner for the longest time. The wife from like when the Homers as a kid, if you like, they had a load of like old vinyl and stuff like that. A lot of it weren't much doing anything, as most of it isn't. But there were a couple that were sort of like quite sort of tasty, I suppose. You know, well, not tasty, but you know what I mean. I had a couple of quid on them, and I remember I stashed them, and it wasn't until James said about it. I said, "Oh, I'll bring them along." And sure enough, he had a couple off me, and a few other people bought a couple, so it was actually worth it, just selling like vinyl at a retro gaming event. It's like Michael Jackson and I can't remember, Europe, and probably a couple that a brother had, like some sort of rap, hip hop type things and stuff like that. So, and I ain't got a clue. Right? I don't even. Jay went through them. Jay and Daz went through them, and Jay was like, "Oh, you've done all this wrong. It's not in it, mate." I said, "Mate, I don't even look at it. It could even be fucking Tchaikovsky's Fifth Movement in there, for all I know." But yeah, I mean, look. If anyone's got any old vinyl and they're thinking of selling it, take it to a retro gaming market, because people buy it there clearly. I mean, well, yeah, we're not talking like big money, like £10 a record or stuff like that. Somewhere like a £5. But anyway, but yeah. So James was there. I've done. Put my teeth back in. I've done a few bits for James, and he very kindly. He very kindly brought this along for Russ, and then again, a bit like the Rolf Harris thing with the Turby Tyre, he decided to give it to me because in Russ's absence. So I felt like you know, sort of fifth wheel the last couple of events. But no, all joking aside, really appreciate it, James. And what it brought along for Russ. So sorry, Russ. I've kind of stolen it, for want of a better word. And you know what? I'd seen this a couple of times. And I know there's always a stigma around these. I think these have got the place. I wouldn't say they've got their place in place of collecting, but as a means, especially for homebrew and some of the weird hacks and that, these are ideal. And I've got multiple of these for different systems. And basically it's, I don't know what you want to call it, the old SD flash card, or a million and one different names. But yeah, you know, for the old Game Gear. So, mate, honestly, really appreciate that. And I will put it to some use. I will. Oh, an SG 1000 games as well, so yeah, even better. But again, I think on my Mega SG, I think I might play Game Gear games natively. I can't remember, but I've got an idea what I want to do with one or two Game Gears anyway. But that's further down the line. But that's ideal. So, mate, honestly, you didn't have to do that, you know. And all joking aside, look, I know I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but I'll take that. Thank you very much. Then what did we have? We've got some other bits from. Okay, this got me confused, and I mentioned it to him actually as well. His name's Chris from Kajor Consoles. Now, those that have been to like a lot of Andy's events will know that it's one or two ways round. There's another couple that stall out called console Kajor, and it's called Kajor Consoles, or the one or the other. The one that stalls out of Andy's got a picture of a parrot. And I said this to him, I said, it got me really confused, because every time I used to see that, I always used to think you're going to be there, and you weren't. It was just, and then I clocked on, it's just the couple. And he didn't believe me, so I had to find it, and he was like, oh yeah, and he was quite proud, you know, like, imitation is the best form of flattery and stuff. I mean, Chris is a lovely guy. Some of the stuff he's got, man, just from a collectible aspect, like, he had a couple of Mario phones and stuff, and I stupidly asked him how they're in the box, which he quite rightly slapped me down for and said they wouldn't be if they were. But lovely to see. I mean, he's always had like little trinkets, toys, you know, all the knick-knacky kind of like collectible stuff that sort of orbits the gaming world. And honestly, you go to his fucking table at the end, it's just like, I remember one year, like next to nothing left. But lovely guy. He said it was his last one, which is a real shame, man. But he chucked me over this for me Pac-Man plushes. I'm looking up there. A little Ms. Pac-Man. That is awesome. Some little kid, I forgot to say to him, some little kid wanted to buy this. I told him to get the fuck out of here. My mate Chris gave me this. Although I did forget your name, Chris. Dana will probably no doubt put in the comments. So I had to ask, because there's so many fucking names. I just know him as Console Couture. So, yeah, Chris, I really appreciate that. But not only that, right towards the end, because like I say, unfortunately, he said it was his last one. He passed me this, and like I've told you before, my eyesight is really failing me. And the Robin Centre, although they've improved the lights, it still ain't great lighting. But I can see it now. It's basically like a Mayflash card. So you can use this to... It sits in between your controller, and whatever device. And it'll basically remap the buttons and stuff. I've seen these knocking about before. I can't remember. Maybe Craig Goodwin's Place has used them before. Like a little USB device. I think you can program it to do shit. But yeah, it's this kind of thing. I can't say I've ever used one for Nintendo Switch, PS3, PC, and Neo Geo Mini and PlayStation Classic. I'm guessing probably anything that's got USB on it. You could probably update the firmware and stuff like that. But yeah, he just chucked it my way. So, mate, an absolute legend. He really is a nice guy. And if you've been to the Black Country gaming event in the past, you would know his stall, because it's like fucking collectible toys, figures. So he had like 3 different Mario phones, Game Boy radio, weird shit, man, weird cool shit. He did say he had at home, and I probably would have bought it. Last time he bought a Philips Explorer. Rob had that TV, CRT, and he did say he had one of the early Trinitons, but a smaller one, which is, I was kind of after a smaller one. I used to have one, and I stupidly threw it away. And I probably would have been tempted by that. You know, like a 14-inch, 17-inch. I can't remember. He didn't really specify, but it was an early one. But anyway, that's by the by. Right. What else do we get? We got this from Colin. Football Colin. I don't know what can't remember what his name is. He's on Facebook. He buys stuff off Steve Bailey and stuff. That's why I know him. But Football Colin. Always had the import games. Again, been to Black Country, you probably would have seen his stall. A lot of import, Japanese, Saturn, and such like, Super Famicom, etc. Yeah, some Genesis stuff. I can't remember if he had this before. He may have done. I can't remember, but because it was set up early, I was having a wander around, and I've always had a soft spot for this game ever since playing in the arcades. And most of the home console versions are pretty good. This is a US exclusive, I think. Definitely didn't get a PAL release. I don't know if it got a Japanese one. I doubt it very much, because Western games generally didn't get ported over to the Japanese market. It is a Genesis game. It's Rampart. Oh, the old Atari. It's Atari! Obviously running under the Tengen logo here. The Tengen banner. Yeah, the box probably needs swapping over, and maybe the insert needs ironing, but it is all there. But I don't know what it is about Rampart. I mean, I'm absolutely terrible at it, but it's just one of those games where you can play it, and you can play it multiple different. Yeah, 20 quid. I paid him 20 quid. I didn't even haggle, to be honest. But yeah, you can play this game, and you can. I think the first I've probably got is like the 4th stage, I think, and then you're fucked. I don't think it's as easy as like it's all planned out. I think the AI is quite decent on it, and you kind of get screwed over. But again, if you play it in the arcades, the sound effects and stuff are really good. I can't speak to the Genesis version because I've never played it. But yeah, I'll give it a bit of a tidy up, clean the box up, maybe put it in a new box. That might help, because sometimes the plastic goes a bit faded, and it makes it look worse than it is. I mean, the spine is obviously clearly had a bit of sun on it. But for 20 quid, you know, again, that's another vendor out. It's something I haven't got. I don't mind the exclusive ones. Obviously, if it had been on the PAL version, I would have already had it, so I wouldn't have any need to buy it. Right, the last couple of bits then are from Paul, who does all the t-shirts and printing and stuff. He couldn't help himself. He kept sniffing around the Atari games, so I looked after him. He looked after me. To be honest, we probably broke even. I don't know. Maybe we didn't. No, we definitely didn't break even. He definitely bought more off me, but I looked after him, and he had like, I don't know where he got them all from. Again, if you'd seen Paul's store, you would have seen this like tub of like Nintendo cardboard. Admittedly, in his own words, not in the best condition, but there's a couple in there, and I'm pretty sure I needed all of these. Well, I know definitely the last 2 I did. This one I wasn't too sure on. They've got no trays and stuff. I could probably sort them out. Again, I ain't too precious on trays. I'll get them online. I don't mind aftermarket trays. They're bits of cardboard at the end of the day. It doesn't bother me. John Madden 93. These have all got the manuals. Carton manual and the box. So, you know what? And Paul really looked after me with these. Yeah, they need a little bit of fettling and stuff, but for what he charged me, like, yeah, man. I'm in. Again, you know, actually structurally quite nice. Nothing untoward. I don't really understand this game. Like this full. Well, no, I do understand it. That's wrong, right? That's wrong. It's not something I watch. It falls into a cricket and golf, but not as bad as those two. This is world class rugby. Egg chasers, I call them. But again, box and manual, just missing the tray. Needs a little bit fettling, a little bit tidying up, but again, for what I paid, not bad. And then this needs no introduction. You all know this. This is PJ Tour Golf. Again, not something I'd go out my way to buy per se, but he had, like I said, they had this box and it was full of like multiple versions of these. So I think I might have picked the best ones. I don't know. Maybe I didn't, but they're all complete. Need a tray. So honestly, thanks to Chris, Paul, and Dana for obviously keeping it running, keeping it alive, and obviously Ant, unfortunately, for not attending, but obviously setting it all up. And hopefully it'll be on next year. It was a good day. You know, for Fob and myself, it's about an hour away. So by the time we got packed up, again, you know, truth be told, it was quieter. It was quieter than usual. Not to say it wasn't well attended, it's just quieter. Personally, they probably could have done with it this weekend, or the beginning, or the end or the beginning of the month. It probably just dropped a week too early before payday, but that can't be helped. But no, I can't remember what I was going to say now. But hopefully it's on next year, next time. I don't know. Shut up, Stu, you idiot. Oh no, the distance for Fob and myself, yeah, it's only an hour away, and so obviously we packed up a little bit earlier, you know, because it was quiet, and we got home. You know, we had a little bit more time, although we always sort of say you just write the day off anyway. You know, getting home an hour or two early when it gets to like 5 o'clock is neither here nor there, really, is it? You ain't going to do anything with them extra couple of hours, so it's not a big deal, but it's still nice to not have to travel, you know, 4 hours or whatever. So yeah, that's it for the events. Maybe before, we've got London and then Doncaster, and that's it then for the year. So this should be out before London, I think. hopefully. So I may see some of you guys there. And then the rest I've got is just stuff from online and CX and eBay. And a lot of it's handheld. Pickups, Stu. Right, so from online, I've got a few more of these. The boxes weren't great. I've had to sort of fettle them a little bit, so they need an iron, and they'll be in another video anyway. Don't worry about it. But I did get a Vader instructions for my box Vader, which I don't know where it is. It'd be somewhere. Put that in with the Vader edition. Sealed. Wild since I said sealed. Should we put seal in and get a copyright? See, this is the thing, right? It's not a copyright strike. It's just a copyright notification, right? If I put seal in here now, no, you're never going to survive. I'll get a notification say, yeah, you can't monetize it. We're going to steal your money. Like, all like 10 people that fucking watch it, or you can remove it. It's not a strike. I hate it when people say it's copyright strike. It's nothing to do with fucking copyright strike. You're not going to get banned.
But we're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy.
But it is sealed. Although I'm not really convinced on the seal. It looks very aftermarket. But again, it's one of these M Network ones. I mentioned it before. It's called Air Raiders. Weren't they toys you had on your finger? You remember them? The little rings, and it had like an aircraft on it. Was they called Air Raiders? I can't remember now. But yeah, not what it is. It's like a fucking flight sim shite. Not for me. But apparently it's sealed, but it is starting to collapse. And this is the fucking thing. So this may come out the box. It probably will come out the box because I don't think this is legit. It looks really odd. Anyone's got any of these M Network ones? Who do they buy? I don't know. It says in television. But yeah, it's got like, almost looks like it's got a tear strip there, but I don't know. Not convinced. Talking about this just reminded, I'm going to go on a right rant here. Because it said flight simulator, it reminded me. James, retrogamer gamer, in one of his vids, he was talking about a movie, docu-movie, whatever you want to call it, the Rubber Key Wonder, about the Specky. He goes, oh, it's great watch. So I thought, you know what, I'll go and acquire that by illicit means. And I did. And I started watching it, and it was good. And then it got fucking ruined, and I switched it off. Probably about 45 minutes into it. If anyone's watched it, they'll know what I'm about. And all you had was these no-mark, Z-list fucking begging YouTubers pop up. Oh, talking about fucking nonsense with all the nonsense. Like, I look like all green screen behind me. I was like, switch it off, delete the file. So if anyone's watched it, they know what I'm on about. I ain't watching them fucking Muppets prance about fucking yapping on. Fuck off. Shame, as it was quite good up until that point. Anyway, USA Telegames. This was one from before, from the same site as that one. It needed a bit of work. Deadly Discs. This is, I think, is the Deadly Discs of Tron. Even though it doesn't say Deadly Discs of Tron, which I think was in a television game. And a little bit expensive. Now, I think it's called Deadly Discs of Tron, but I don't know because it says Deadly Discs. So, if someone can enlighten me, if it's yay or nay, it was split right down the middle, no, down the side. Needs some fettling. It's got like a bit of, it was quite badly crushed there. Again, it's like quite square. You're not going to get all that out. Anyone who tells you, oh, iron this, no, you're never ever going to get any of that out. You can sort of square it off, but you'll never like iron it out, if that makes sense. So yeah, another one for the US, the Telegames, which again, like I say, it's the M Network. It's that sort of same design, which apparently some people do like. The last time I asked the question, but I said it did seem Marmite to me. Personally, not really a fan, but hey ho. Last couple of bits, as I mentioned before, CEX, couple of Game Gear games from CEX. This one, again, I mentioned it before. I think it's took about four attempts maybe to get this. Some people would make like, I don't know what you call it, like clickbait video. CX ripped me off. CX wankers. CX. I seen another one on one of the Facebook groups earlier about reprinted covers. I'm like, fuck, it's old news, man. Move along. Oh, look, CX are charging X amount for a reprinted cover. Don't buy it. Don't fucking buy it, you fucking imbecile. Anyway. Fourth time of asking from CEX, FIFA 96, they actually got the PAL version. Do you know what? It probably would have been easier just to buy it from a show for the amount of effort it's took. I think I probably saved £5 off CEX. But hey, look, I had credit, so I stuck by my guns and I managed to get it. They did have about, I want to say, probably 6 or 7 copies of that. I've gone through most of them. First time, first hit, first win. Was it any cheaper than eBay? I don't think there wasn't much in it. Again, probably with credit. I should say, not that anyone's probably that bothered. I don't know. Are you that bothered? FIFA 96, no Master System version of that. Although someone did say to me, was it Ollie? When I mentioned about FIFA, the first one. Did they say that they'd reused an engine from a previous football game? Can't remember. In my back of my middle brain somewhere. Similarly, Judge Dredd, no Master System release, so I can't speak to it. Acclaim are usually pretty good, to be fair, with the movie and whatnot tie-ins, but no real. Probably like a couple of, maybe a £5 saved from what was eBay prices, if you like, if that's how you want to word it. We're rattling through these now, aren't we? This one was from eBay, funnily enough, from eBay. I convinced, this is Mandela effect, right? I'd convinced myself that I'd already got this to the point where I've got a list on my computer and I've got a list on my phone when I'm out and about at events, right? And this game was still on both those lists. Maybe I spoke to Scott at Blackpool. I'm like, no, ignore that one. I've definitely got that. I know I've got it because I spoke about it. Well, when I did, I can't remember what I did now. I did put some of the last lot of games away and I should dig into my Game Gear drawer. I thought, you know what, I'm going to check because I'm fucking convinced I've got this game. I ain't got it. And it's Crash Dummies. Although it doesn't say Crash Test Dummies, it says Crash Dummies. Now, ordinarily, right, this kind of game wouldn't mean much to me in and of itself. It's because Dana has a story about this. But when he was a kid, he had all the toys and stuff like that. So in my head, I don't know why, because other than the Mega Drive version, I don't think I've got it on anything else. Am I making sense here? Have I bought it on something else? Because I remember mentioning that story a couple of times, and this is where the Mandela effect kicks in. Because I'm like, if I'm going fucking mad, or there's some weird Inception shit going on, and someone's like inside the subconscious of the subconscious inside my head that this has happened to. But anyway, look, it was probably half price off of eBay compared to CEX. So I just bought it essentially. But yeah, weird, really weird, because that was one game, like, even though both lists were saying you haven't got it, I was saying, no, I've got that. I know I've got it because I've talked about it on a video. Apparently not. Apparently not. If anybody else who pays any attention to these videos, which I doubt very much, I don't blame you, knows differently, then let me know. I hope there's some sort of weird savant that goes, actually, Tucci, 2 years ago, you purchased that from wherever it was, and yeah, you mentioned it, but I don't think so. Okay, right, last bit of Game Gear. Not the last pickup, but the last bit of Game Gear. These things I love. Again, I'm not going to lament too much on these because I talk about them so much at recent times, and it's just a thing, right? But surprisingly, this is like a bit more sought after. Not sought after. They hold the value. I don't know what word you want to look for, but it is a Pro Action Replay for the Game Gear. There is a Game Genie for the Game Gear, which I think I've got. I've got the Game Genie for the Game Gear. Or is that the Game Boy one? Can't remember. This is less common. I always think the Game Gear is like an Americanized thing. I don't know why. And the Action Replay is more of a European, UK thing. But anyway, we've got the Pro Action Replay for the Game Gear in this wonderful, I don't know what you call it, vacuum plastic, I can't really call it now. Vacuum sealed plastic, which just fucking cracks and destroys itself over time. But yeah, I actually had to do some repairs to it because that was completely busted and hanging off. The trouble with this plastic is you can't do a great deal with it. It's quite brittle in that sense. So yeah, I mean, that was just sort of hanging off. So I've reattached it, a bit of glue, a lot of patience, and it, like I say, it does what it's meant to do, and that's enough. But the cartridge is quite funky, sort of jewelled, which you'd expect because the game's got to go in as well as that's got to go in. But I've never used a Pro Action Replay on the Game Gear. But yeah, again, Pro Action Replay, and there'll be plenty of like the codes online and shit like that. Probably a whole database of it all. But yeah, Daytal. See, Daytal for me is always Super Nintendo. But yeah, I do like these devices. The Game Gear, fucking hell, Stu. The Game Genie version for the Game Gear, I think, is a little bit more common, not as like uncommon. Hence, look, when I say uncommon, you don't want to talk about price wise, right? Price levels. What is this, the bloody Game Boy? Is this just doing me head in now, or is it the Game Gear? This is the Game Boy one. The Game Gear one's not too dissimilar to that. So that'll probably appear because I can't help myself. I just like shit like that. Right, anyway, talking about Game Boy. Then I'm going to let you go. Bought a Game Boy lot. Two bits I wanted to keep out of it, as I always do. This one is a Game Boy Color. I can't speak to any of these, realistically, because I haven't played them. Batman of the Future. Return of the Joker. It looked interesting. After everything's been said and done, these don't cost me anything. This one I thought I had. Killer Instinct on the normal Game Boy. We'll do that in a minute. This one I wouldn't mind getting in the big box version, just because it looks different and it's pretty cool. It's not very expensive. Probably not 20 quid. Maybe not. If you get it, you know, it's all about the condition of the box. F1 race. Probably one of the earlier sort of 4-player hookup ones. It does come, like I said, a big box version of this does come with like a quite a funky official Nintendo 4-player adapter box unit type thing. On everything. Nearly as popular as Doom. Lemmings. Always be Amiga game. Always be Amiga. Always be Amiga. This one I've probably had. A lot of these I've probably had in the back in the day. Tidals for the Foot Clan. I can't remember. There's 3 Tidals games, isn't there? Some Sewers. I think that's the expensive one. I can't. I think that's kind of middle of the road. This one, oh god, the name just fell out my head. It's just gone again. Oh my God, Stu. Again, this is a Amiga game, or Commodore 64, probably more apt, but I remember it on the Amiga. And I've got to stop looking at the name because it keeps confusing me. Oh, God, I can't think what it's called now. I'm going to put it down here before I show the game because I'm fucking think. Anyway, it's called Castilian. But we don't know it as Castilian. That's kind of the Americanized name. We know it as... I can't think. This is old age. This is early onset Alzheimer's. That's going to really annoy me. I know everyone's shouting at the screen, but I would have put it before there because it literally will come to me. As soon as I turn the camera off, it will come to me what the name of it is. Oh no, can't think of it. Anyway, the last one, and it's 2 games. Arcade Classics 3. It's Galaga and Galaxian. Galaxian. Anyway. That'll annoy a few people, won't it? But yeah, that's it, guys. Honestly, that is it. Plenty more to come, hopefully. Well, there will be, because there's stuff on the shelf. London should be before this video. After this video. No, before this. No, after this video. After this video. And then I say we've got Doncaster, which historically ain't been great. So you probably won't see me till after Doncaster from a video wise. That's probably the point I'm getting at, which is towards the tail end, which will probably be this month, which will be November when you see this. So about right, you know, for me now, about 1 a month, that's more than enough. People really aren't that interested. I kind of get it. But I want to keep saying Morbius for that game, but it's not Morbius. Because that's really annoying me. Anyway, take it easy, YouTube, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye. I'm back. It's Nebulous. Not Morbius, Nebulous. Castilian is Nebulous. God damn it. I knew I turned the camera off, I remember. I didn't Google it. I swear to God, I wouldn't lie to you guys. I wouldn't lie to you. Fucking Nebulous. Bastard.